Let's talk about the SVD. Now, I had no intentions of making this video, but a bunch of people blew up my comments, so I did a post. I thought that would have helped it. No, they just keep coming and coming and coming. I just did a live stream. I got blew up again. So, okay, I'll weigh into this. I'll put my opinion out there. Now, this information may not be 100% correct. I'm going off what I've been told and what I assume by the knowledge I have of how business, YouTube, etc. all works. Sorry, about 3 years ago, there was a group of people on a forum or something like that. I'm unclear of exactly where it happened, but I'm guessing AK files. They had decided that they would guarantee some company sales of a rifle if they would improve it. This rifle being the SVD. Importation is a real pain in the ass. I will never get into importation because I just don't have that kind of patience. It's why, like, single companies like, say, Century Arms does most of your importation because they're good at it, they've done it enough, they're experienced, etc., etc., etc. So, SVDs. 3 years ago into it, trying to make this happen. Apparently, they tell the right people the right thing. It happens. The rifles are imported. From what I understand, there will be 100 units. The cost of those were $3,800 a piece, bringing it to $380,000. Now here's where the information starts conflicting and nobody's really sure what's going on. So now the rifles are here. They show up. One of two things happen. Either some other people are correct and Mac had some sort of conspiracy going, possibly with other people, got the rifles, talked to the distributor because he found out a year in advance that they were coming in, got the okay, like, hey, you know, I'll give you this much for them, forget those people, give them to me. Or the rifles came in and for whatever reason they were having troubles collecting money, or something happened. I mean, this is a lot of money. And you think they're going to send those rifles in without paying for them in advance? No. You got to pay for that shit in advance. So there is money floating out there that people need to collect on. So either they had troubles collecting the money or something fell through. Maybe, who knows? It could be anything. And then Mac found out about this, swooped in, grabbed the rifles. So, is Mac the bad guy or the good guy? Now at face value, you have a tendency to believe that he's the bad guy. Because even if he couldn't get the money, why would he not sell them to those original people? But, because I understand how YouTube works, and Mac is a public figure, and he would be an absolute moron to think that this information would not go public, because it most definitely would, leads me to believe that there was no conspiracy. I very well could be wrong about that, but that's what I'm leaning towards just because he's been in the game long enough to where he would know that if he were to pull some crap like that, everyone would know about it. Now, there is a possibility that he is a moron and he seriously thought this was going to fly under the radar and he was going to make a quick buck. However, I'm not inclined to believe that because, my God, if those rifles came in and that was me in his position, I would know immediately this is going to go public because I'm a public figure. There's a lot of eyes on me. If I did something shiesty like that, there's no way I could hide it. So anyway, whether or not Mac was the bad guy or the good guy, the real question is, how are these people entitled these rifles? Yes, they did some legwork, but was there some sort of legal contract? Were there down payments? Because if they did all the legwork and they didn't have a legal contract ensuring they will get the rifles, or they didn't put some sort of financial payment down or some sort of down payment down, they really kind of dropped the ball. Because if it wouldn't have been Mac taking them, somebody else would have. Nobody would have let those rifles come in and been like, hey, I'm just going to give it to this group of people when on the open market I know roughly what they're going to be worth. No. So even if there wasn't a conspiracy, if those people did not make sure they had something in writing, a contract that will be honored, that they will get the rifles, or they did not have a down payment, which I highly doubt they did, I could be wrong, but I highly doubt they did, then those rifles are fair game. I get they're frustrated, but they made their own mistake. They should have had a contract, or they should have collected down payments or some sort of guarantee that they will get the fruits of their labor. Now, I know it sucks. It really does. And I'd be angry. But I'd also be like, okay, that was a stupid mistake. I really dropped the ball on that one. Let's try this again. This time I will make sure I got all my I's dotted and my T's crossed. We will get a contract together. Maybe down payments from people. Because you have no idea. I mean, just the ridiculous amount of time people talk out of their ass to me. Like, they'll be like, hey, I'll be in Friday to buy that rifle right out of the case. Guaranteed. Like, you could bet your life on it. And when I first started selling guns, yeah, I would pull it out of the case, and I would walk over to the safe, and I would put it in the safe. Friday would come, and no, they wouldn't come and buy the firearm. People talk out of their ass when it comes to buying firearms all the time, because what they want and what they can actually afford are two totally separate things. Now I won't even pull a firearm out of the case unless they're willing to put a substantial down payment towards the price. So I suspect the rifles came in, they started to try to collect the money, failed miserably, and then they were like, well, shit, I got $380,000 sitting out there floating. I can't just piecemeal it out and slowly collect this money over the next, 5 years? Depending on how quickly the rifles sell. No, I need to get my money back. That is a lot of money out there. So I suspect they had some sort of relationship with Mac, reached out to him like, hey man, can you cover this? I'm having problems collecting the money. Or I've already reached out to people that were supposed to already have the money. They do not have the money. Something happened. Now, that's my theory that has no basis in reality. I'm just extrapolating why it would go down in this chain of events. Now we go to Gunbroker. So he puts him on Gunbroker. I don't know if he's never run a Gunbroker auction before or something, but the proper way to run a Gunbroker auction is you start the auction at a penny with no reserve. Now that by itself is fine. He owns the rifles now. It doesn't really matter what he does with them. He could take them to a shredder and none of us can say shit about it. That's his choice. This is America. We can make choices for ourselves. It doesn't matter if he sells them on Gunbroker or if he stands outside of Copper Customs and sells them. As long as he's doing a 4473, when he transfers it to another person, it's irrelevant what he does with them. So up to that point, I don't have a problem if there was no conspiracy. If somebody can prove to me 100% beyond all reasonable doubt there was in fact a conspiracy, I will make a second follow-up video. But I need actual text messages from him proving it or something. Or if somebody can prove to me that there was a legal document ensuring those people got those rifles or some sort of down payment, again, I will make a second video. My opinion will be totally different. Then I will be like, drop the hammer. He is an evil guy. So the Gunbroker thing happens. And apparently, he lists... See, this is where you guys actually are in the right. This is where you have the right to be mad. So apparently, he only intended on just trickling out rifles, which is exactly how I would do it. There ain't no way in hell I dump that many rifles on the market at the exact same time. Because the only thing rarer than that, we'll say $5,000 SVD, is somebody with $5,000 that wants to buy that SVD. So what you do is you put one out at a time. Every week there's another one up there. You start it at 1 penny. The market itself can decide the value. That is fair game. That is okay. Well, apparently he listed all 50 of them. Then changed the auction because that would have been a tactical mistake. They would have been on there for a long time. He would have had to bring the price down. He would have cut his own throat. So then apparently he changed it so there was only 5 on there or 1. I'm unclear of exactly what had happened at that point, but that would have been the smart thing to do. There ain't no way in hell I'd list all 50. That's just stupid. You wouldn't do that. That is a bad business move. And then we get into the failed damage control. This is where he cuts his own throat. And from what I understand, and I've seen screenshots and stuff, so I'm inclined to believe this, instead of being like, oh yeah, I have all 50, but that's not how I want to sell them, this is how I want to do it, He lied and said he only had 5 of them to try to inflate the market, but he actually had all 50 and is getting the next 50 that comes in. That's a problem. He shouldn't have done that. He's a public figure. There ain't no way people wouldn't know. I mean, they can track down anything if they're really motivated. So he shouldn't have tried to do the damage control. And he sucked at it. Like, I would have simply been like, yes, I have all 50 and I have the 50 that are coming in. This is why that company had problems collecting, so they reached out to me. I was able to cover the cost, so I bought them all. I can't dump 50 on Gunbroker at once because that's a stupid idea. I'm not going to sell them then. Nobody's going to buy them. I need to dump one at a time, and then when the market dries up, like, okay, so I'm getting what I want out of it. I'm getting what I want out of it. I'm almost getting... Now that is the bare minimum of what I can take. At that point, you stop selling it on Gunbroker, you throw the rest on the shelf, and you let them sit for years till people come in and buy them. So failed damage control, and that really sucks. Now at this point, one of two things is going to happen. Either the rifles are going to be a hit, and people are going to want them, and they're all going to sell, which will lead to more rifles coming in, or the failed damage control will result in the rifles barely selling, or people not wanting to buy them. Boom. Rifles don't sell. The 100 that are coming in will be the only 100 that come in. They will become a super rare rifle, and that'll really suck. So I'm hoping he's able to recoup his losses, sell the rifles, and other people are like, oh, hey, he sold a bunch of them, so maybe I should import some and bring some in. But again, I get why the people on, I'm guessing the AK forum are mad, but if they did not put a financial leg out there or some sort of written contract, they cut their own throat. Yeah, I'm sorry. It does suck. You put a lot of work into it. In the future, you should probably cover your tracks just a little bit better. Does he owe those people the rifles? Well, that all depends. If it was a conspiracy, yes, he really should sell it to them. If it wasn't a conspiracy and he was helping out this distributor, which will help more rifles come in, no, he doesn't owe them shit. If they want, they can go and buy the rifles. However, he should do the Gunbroker auction different. He should put one out at a time, start at a penny, and just take whatever the market will give. If they spike the auction again, screw it. Throw a 20% markup on it, leave it on the store shelf until people get desperate enough to buy it. Hell, at that point, I'd be so pissed I'd make sure any of them that came into the country after that point, I would have 100% control over because, yeah, that would make me angry. But that's just me, and that's how I would run things. That's how I feel about this, and I'm trying to give you guys a look at both sides because every video I've seen on him so far has just been smashing him, smashing him, smashing him. And I get it. They're pissed. They're mad. But there's both sides to the coin. You have to see both perspectives before you make a decision. Should I or should I not be mad? Anyway, I'm hoping I covered this in depth like how you would have liked to have seen it covered. I apologize if this video made you angry, but it's fair game. This is America. If you want something, you need to reach out and take it and fight for it and hang on to it. If you're not willing to do that, well, you don't deserve it then. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like to help support the channel, got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Even if you don't buy what those links are for, just click it on those links and then doing the Amazon shopping you're going to do anyway. A little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Why do you gotta be such a heartless little brat?
If I am such a brat, then why don't you spank me right now, Daddy? And show me what a bad girl I have been and teach me a lesson.
Okay, I might have been overreacting a little bit, Lacey. I love you. I'm never gonna trade you in.
I love you too.
It's not the action I wanted, but it's the action I can get.